sometimes I like to start these segments in a way where I have not read or seen the content, so I'm reacting to it as I'm filming it. And in some cases, I read something about it that gives me like I have to go frame it before, like when I edit it, because I'm like, I find something out that kind of changes the entire environment for the story. This story that's coming up that I already recorded is about Darren Till being sued for $1.4 million over his Raw Dog beer company. And I just want to say this, okay? The guys that sued him, I just assumed they sued him because they owned the rights to Raw Dog, right? Like, because it's Raw Dog beer. So, of course, someone must own the trademark to Raw Dog. Nope. They own the trademark to Raw. So a quick piece of context is Darren Till was doing Mike Perry's podcast, and he let him know that he had this Raw Dog beer company that was doing really well, and they got sued and they got shut down by this company, G-Star Raw or whatever, that I'm going to talk about in a second. But that's important context before you listen to the rant I'm about to go on. So anyone who uses the term raw is supposedly violating their trademark, okay? The company's name, by the way, is G-Star Raw. It's a clothing company. A clothing company. A clothing company. G-Star Raw. Never buy these guys' shit, dude. G-Star Raw sued Darren Till because he used the word raw in his beer company. His beer company. They're a clothing company. They hit Darren Till with a $1.4 million lawsuit. And how is Raw Dog beer hurting G-Star Raw's clothing company? Riddle me that. Okay? And of course, Darren, it's a fledgling company. They don't have the money to fight against it, so they lose or whatever, whether they lost or they had to shut down, whatever it is. Fuck these guys, dude. Take a little baby company that's just getting started with someone like Darren Till at the helm and you drive them into bankruptcy with a lawsuit. If you wanted to extort them, I mean, like, this is the whole thing, okay? This is the whole thing. If you own the trademark to Raw, you think you have a case, whatever, you're going to sue this little fledgling company. What's going to happen? They're going to go out of business, right? Are they going to have money to give you? Nope. Are they going to have any money to give you? No. All you did is bankrupt them. So what's the purpose? You bankrupt because Raw Dog beer was going to hurt your clothing company, G-Star Raw? It wasn't. So what happens? You get nothing. All you've done is destroy. You just destroyed. You gain nothing. Brilliant business, dude. How about you go to Darren Till and you tell him that you own the trademark to Raw, in which case you will let them continue to use it if he promotes your clothing company for free, and then you give or you get a percentage of his Raw Dog beer company. Then you can make money and you can gain value from Darren Till promoting your stuff. I mean, I realize, that people who run companies apparently are not super fucking smart, but this seemed like a no-brainer. Keep in mind before you go buying their stuff, since it's totally on brand, is my entire point, that they bankrupted Darren Till's company. Okay? Look at this. This is their branding. G-Star Raw. Raw. You couldn't have put together that Darren Till was a good brand fit that you had by the balls because he was using your trademark? Fucking morons. You went and sued him? You stupid I cannot believe how dumb people are. It is unreal to me. It is unbelievable to me. How much were the legal bills? Actually, it didn't even cost us very much because they instantly folded. So it was only like $20,000 to sue them. Oh, good for you, dude. Well, you're down $20,000 and you didn't get any piece of their company, and Darren Till is not promoting your stuff. Genius. G-Star Raw. This is like the opposite of an ad read. Speaking of ad reads, check out Happy Hippo, okay? Happy Hippo for the kratom shots. I love them. I'm going to take one right now, actually, off camera. But go to happyhippo.com. Energy shots are my favorite. You guys are going to love it. Check them out. The last thing I'll say about the Darren Till story is just that we all know Darren Till is struggling financially because he's talked about it openly. He said he's selling his clothes. You know what I mean? The guy's selling his clothes. And these guys sue him and shut down a company that he's getting rolling that's starting to work. It's like, I don't know. I'm serious. Like, I said this in a different take that I don't think should be in this video. If it is, then I've made an editing mistake, but I would 100% help. I would donate and help promote Darren Till's GoFundMe if he was like, listen, man, I am selling my clothes to be able to pay for myself, to be able to train, I need your guys' help, dude, I'd promote the living shit out of that. No, I don't want anything for it. I don't want nothing. I would donate to it and I would promote it because I love Darren Till and I want to see him do well. And it really pisses me off that these guys sued him. You know what I mean? But anyways, so food for thought. So I saw this clip and I had to talk about it, right? This is a clip from John Anik and Kenny Florian's show. I believe they do it on the DraftKings channel. And this is about John Anik saying that he is thinking about retiring from mixed martial arts commentating and analysis because of the reaction that people gave him to him expressing his opinion that DDP won the Strickland fight. And so before I even get into this thing, I'm just going to show you what he said, and then we're going to talk about it, and I'll react to it. Ready? Let's
Because
watch.
Even if you and I both thought Dracus du Plessis won the fight, we try to present that information respectfully. And when I go on to X or I go to our YouTube comments, it seems like a lot of these fans are just in attack mode. And I don't know if these fans are casual fans or not, right? But I appreciate the passion, but I'm getting to a point at 45 years of age where I don't know how much time I have left in this MMA space, because if I go do pro football, like, I'm not necessarily going to be dealing with this lowest common denominator all the time. And I don't know, man, I just feel like there's a lot of malice and disrespect from the fan base, and we can disagree. Like, don't take it from me. Demetrius Johnson and Kenny Florian thought DDP won the fight. I don't know. I've just been very off put with the negativity that has permeated my feed since Saturday night, and I'm just not sure how much longer I have in this space, honestly.
First of all, John Anik, really, you guys? You guys went at John Anik like that? I don't know how this is going to sound coming from me, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm sure that there are people like the ones in the group that were probably lighting John Anik up on whatever platforms he's talking about, who probably like watching me nuke some people who I believe deserve it. John Anik absolutely never being one of those people ever. Isn't there anyone who's off limits in the MMA community? Like, isn't there anyone off limits? John Anik, really? Like, John Anik, you're going to attack that guy. He's like the most quintessential stone professional there is in the industry. He would never say anything negative to anybody else. That's the thing that, I don't know, dude. I hear myself saying this right now, and I heard myself say it about the Leon and Colby situation, right? And like, Anik was actually one of the guys who was kind of like, look, dude, I don't really care about what Colby said. They're going to fight. It's just all fight hype. Not that that's relevant. But the thing that I said, where I kind of started being like, all right, you know, like, when I first started talking about the Colby and Leon thing, I was like, what is everybody crying about? They're going to go fight. Who cares? And then the thing that kind of changed my mind was, and you know, it's not that I went from, oh, I completely don't care, to, oh my God, it's like a huge passion project for me to chastise Colby. But where I got softer on it was, I was like, dude, Leon would have never said anything like that to anybody. You know, like, he would have never done that. And John Anik, of all people, he's never going to yell at someone for their opinion about a mixed martial arts event. Never. He's never going to yell at you about a fight. He's just going to be like, look, this is why I thought that they won. So, I don't know. To me, that stuff matters. You know what I mean? Like, that matters. And so, as an example, again, before I come back to the Anik thing, I spent 4 days just eviscerating Michael Ryan Ruiz. Why? You know? Why? Is because he was shitting on people that I consider to be my people. He says, fuck that guy about Strickland. And then he says, fuck that guy about Dana. And then he questions the guy. He's like, he's sitting here, dude, Dana's a bad person. And I'm like, oh, is that right? And then when writers attack Rogan, I'm like, oh, you want to go after Rogan? I'm going to go after you. It's a 1 + 1 = 2 thing, where I feel like I'm defending our people. That's why I say that all the time. Or like when Logan Paul's suing Dylan Dennis, I'm like, how is anyone letting him get away with this? Like, don't you feel like you want to defend these guys? John Anik, because he thought Sean Strickland didn't win? Like, you guys are going to drive him out? Like, you guys went so hard at him that you have him considering retiring from the sport? Like, what are you doing? Who cares if someone doesn't think that Sean Strickland... Like, this is actually, I'm doing a very mediocre job saying what I'm trying to say, which is this. If you feel like someone is being dishonest and they're saying DDP won because they're doing it specifically to hate on Sean, and you're a huge Sean fan and you think they're doing it like because they are a hyper leftist and they want to see him out of there, right? And they're like, don't get mad because Sean sucks, bro. Don't get mad because your boy doesn't know how to fight. Yeah, you could go light that guy up a little bit, you know, because their opinion is dishonest and they're being combative and they're being nasty. John Anik? You really think that he would say that he thought someone won if he didn't think that they won? And you guys, it's coming from me. I think Sean won. Now, in fairness, I thought DDP won the first time through. You know, first time through, I thought DDP won. I feel like I just need to reiterate this because I've talked about it enough. But like the first time through, I thought DDP won 2-3-4. That's what I thought. I thought he won 2-3-4. And the second time through, I was very sure that Sean won 1-2-5. And candidly, I didn't even watch 3 and 4. I just watched 1-2-5, and I was like, okay, so he won. Because anyway, it doesn't matter though, because especially like you're not Sean Strickland, dude. You're not even on his team. If Sean Strickland's team is not bent out of shape at Anik or someone who thinks DDP won, then why are you in a position where you're so mad that you're going to attack John Anik, dude? Here's the thing that I would say to John Anik, though, just in fairness, is I would say, I will bet you, because you brought up, I think he said he's 44 or whatever it is. I'll just say this. I would bet you that the average age of the person who is coming at you being super negative and taking it above where you're having a spirited conversation about who won, I will bet you that they are half your age or younger. Almost all of them. The average age being right around there and most of them younger. Well, I guess the average, whatever. Let's not dig into the math. Because people who's, you know, this is the thing I say to Gabrielle. I've said this actually to a bunch of people, people that have your job that have said, you know, this really bothers them when the yada yada. But like bottom line, I've said this every single time. The people who say really outlandish stuff, I always say, I guarantee you, if you could get to the other side of the device that they're speaking on and you could see who is saying it to you, you know, no offense, guys. But someone like John or me or the other people we're talking about would look at you and go, oh, okay, hey, talk your shit, dude. You know what I mean? Talk your shit. You are not a person whose opinion is important to me. You are a person whose opinion is not important to me. And I'm not saying that anybody is better than anybody else. I'm just saying if you are a person who is yelling super, super negative shit at John Anik, most likely not a person whose opinion should be valued very much because it's such a classless weirdo thing to do. John Anik, dude? So scale it back, guys. Pick your targets more wisely. John Anik is not in the game at all. Now, the last part of this video is I want to cover what Ariel said about the Sean Strickland stuff. I don't know if everybody was waiting to hear what he was going to say, but I was. I was very curious what Ariel was going to say about the Sean Strickland comments and, you know, just what his take was going to be, because I expected it to be, you know, he knows better than to do it like Michael Ryan Ruiz. Obviously, he's not stupid enough to go in and be all, you know, to do it like that guy and hate on Sean like that because he's a member of the combat sports community. But I was very curious what he was going to say. And so we're going to watch that. And then I'm going to comment. It's about a 2.5 minute clip. Let's watch.
When he says it's always been like that here, it hasn't always been like that here. In fact, it once included our show. We were once caught in a bit of a firestorm when Matt Mitrione used to come on the show for his Mitrione Minute. And this is back in 2013. He said something about Fallon Fox. He called Fallon Fox a transgender fighter, quote, lying sick, sociopathic, disgusting freak. He said that on this show.
I mean, I'm not saying I would ever say that publicly, but is that not correct? Is that not correct? They lied on their application and they pulverized girls, broke one of their skulls, and then publicly proclaimed that they enjoyed it because they liked smashing TEFS, which is trans exclusionary feminists, I believe. If I'm, you know, well, if you're trans exclusionary, I like breaking your skull. So I'm just saying.
Shortly thereafter, the UFC posted this statement. The UFC was appalled by the transphobic comments made by heavyweight Matt Mitrione.
Were they, though? You know, were they? The UFC was in a different time then.
Today, in an interview on the MMA Hour, the organization finds Mitrione's Comments offensive and wholly unacceptable, and as a direct result of this significant breach of the UFC's code of conduct, Mr. Mitrione's UFC contract has been suspended, and the incident is being investigated. The UFC is a friend and ally of the LGBT community and expects and requires all 450 of its athletes to treat others with dignity and respect. 2013.
Man, that hurt. I mean, obviously I know it's 11 years ago, but that just hurt. Every time I hear that, it just hurts, you know? It just really, all it demonstrates is how different times are now. But that, just hearing those words, even though it's like in the back of your mind, you're like, you know, it's not the same as it was, you know, as it is now, but it's like, like I just
continue.
Because you know what that means now, you know? Like, you know exactly, like that statement right there, you know exactly what that means now. It's not what it meant then, but.
It was May of 2013. Nate Diaz tweets a homophobic slur about Brian Caraway. Dana White telling the media that Nate Diaz could be cut from the UFC for this tweet. Nate Diaz could be cut from the UFC. And later on, the UFC suspended Nate Diaz following the tweet. You see it right over there. May of 2013. Quote, "We are very disappointed by Nate Diaz's comments, which are in no way reflective of our organization."
Dude, Connor back then could have been like, listen, son, I want you to take every gay and trans and put them on the wall, dog. We can't have them in the world. String them up. And Dana would have been like, listen, I don't know, man. Listen, these guys are going to say crazy things. Connor's leash was so long, dude. Connor throws a fucking dolly through a window and knocks 3 people off the card, and there's no, you know, punishment. I'm just saying. But let's continue.
Nate is currently suspended pending internal investigation. We'll provide further comment once the matter has been decided. Again, actions, repercussions. This hasn't always been the way it is. And finally, here's one more for you. July of 2015, Yoel Romero wins a big fight, and he gets on the microphone, and people still aren't sure what he said regarding Jesus. But what did Dana White say? Don't even go there. You just won the biggest fight of your career. He said it to me at the Reebok launch. America doesn't want to hear your thoughts on Jesus. Keep that stuff at home. Religion, politics, all that stuff. When you're out here fighting, you're being interviewed, they want to hear about the fight.
Line, we are just in a different time now. That is just what it is. It's a different time now than it was then. They are self-owned now by WME. They don't have to worry about funding. They don't have to worry about how they need to be presented. The world has changed, and I think the pushback, or the people trying to take away people's ability to say things has been so heavy that Dana now is prioritizing. He's like, look, dude, we are a pure free speech platform now. We're not going to take away anybody's ability to say anything. I don't know if they would have supported someone saying a trans fighter is a sick, demented, sociopathic freak. But I would imagine that now, given that hot button topic, they probably would have been allowed to say that without repercussions. What Ariel said is they're just all facts. Every single thing that he said is just a fact. He's like, it didn't used to be like that. True. Matt Mitrione said those things. True. The thing about Yoel Romero is weird, but true. Nate Diaz, all that stuff's true. So, he's just stating facts. But I think it's fair to say that we live in a different time now, and we would not have seen a similar outcome if it happened again now in any of those cases. So anyway, that's what I got for now. We're going to talk about the Vince McMahon scandal next. I love you guys. Bye-bye.